Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gentle Yoga. And I actually have a little bit of bedhead. We were talking about haircuts and stuff. I just got a short swimmer's haircut because my goal this summer is to swim with the river huggers across the Willamette. So I've been trying to swim more. Okay, so for Gentle Yoga today, we will have a bolster or a pillow. A blanket could be helpful. I like to sit on a blanket, so to bring a blanket down. 2 blocks if you have, and a strap would be helpful. And then you can make your way onto the floor or onto a chair or a bed, whatever would feel most comfortable. And then I like to, if I'm going to come onto the back, I like to use the blanket as a little roll underneath the heart center. And so what I like to do is take the blanket and make a little roll. And then this is going to go right underneath my shoulder blades or around the mid back. And then you have a little bit of blanket here for underneath your head. So you can come to lie on your back, bring the blanket roll underneath your heart. And then you can assess at this point if that actually feels comfortable. Maybe you prefer to lie flat on your back or come into any other comfortable position. We have this pose called constructive rest pose, which means you can walk your feet as wide as the mat, allow your knees to tent together for support. And then you might cactus your arms open to the sides, or maybe you bring your hands to rest on your belly. Another fun option with your legs is to bring the soles of the feet to touch. Allow the knees to open out wide to the sides. And then if you're going to do this, you might find some kind of support for underneath your knees. So I like to usually bring the blocks underneath the knees. I forgot to mention that we can also use a strap. And I have this nice long strap, but you can always use a belt, or maybe the sash of a robe. That would work. So as you begin to lie back or come to any kind of restful position, your choice, you might take a moment to close your eyes or soften your gaze. And just bring your awareness inside the body. Allow yourself to soften here, feeling the rise and fall of your breath, and relaxing all of your efforts. So you might smooth out your forehead, softening through your brow, relaxing your eyebrows, softening through your cheeks and the hinge of your jaw. And then bring your awareness down into your heart center. And just imagine for a moment that you have a little spring at your heart center. So often we're looking to the outside world for messages, maybe on our phones, reading text messages, or on email. And right now, let's think about maybe there's a message hidden deep within inside you, a message from yourself. And that message could be an intention for your practice. If you'd like a suggestion for an intention, today we're on our 3rd yama in our series. So we have 10 yamas and niyamas. These are yoga's ethical practices. And the 3rd one is called asteya, and it means non-stealing. So I just have a short reading from the book by Deborah Adele, and you can just allow these words to sort of sprinkle over you like little drops of rain. In the book by Deborah Adele, she says about asteya is the third jewel. It means non-stealing. It calls us to live with integrity and reciprocity. When we are genuinely caring for the other, that caring finds expressions in ways that feel supportive and tender. Yogi Bhajan says, be a forklift. You should always be lifting people up. We can ask ourselves, does the other person feel uplifted and light because they've been with us? How have we brightened their day by taking a moment to listen, to sincerely compliment them, or to simply smile? So if the idea of non-stealing speaks to you, you can use it as an intention today for your practice. Imagine whatever intention you set as a glowing jewel and allow it to plant itself at your heart center. And then when you're ready, you can take some nice deep breaths, growing your jewel, allowing it to glow from your heart space, radiating throughout your body. And if today during class you feel distracted by thoughts of the past or plans for the future, you might just notice that, observe that with kindness and compassion, and see if you can let it go, returning to your intention, returning to your body and to your breath. Then we'll invite some movement into the body now, so you can lift your knees up towards the sky. You might sweep your hands down, gently press your knees together, and then walk your feet as wide as the mat. Open the arms out wide to the sides, and just allow your knees to float over to the left. You can allow them to soften there and turn your gaze over to the right. Maybe you just allow yourself to pause here for a few rounds of breath. We are going to switch sides, so it's your choice as your own best teacher. Does it feel good to pause? Or maybe you prefer finding a little bit more active movement, and you can turn your knees to the other side, your gaze to the other side, float it over whenever you feel ready. And then either stay for a few rounds of breath, or maybe it feels good to find a little bit more movement, following the pace of your own breath, rocking the knees from side to side. Breathing down the gentle curve in your spine. Take one more nice deep breath on each side. And then whenever you feel ready, we'll meet back up in center when you feel balanced from left to right. Now, at any time, if that blanket roll is not feeling good, you can move it off to the sides, but maybe it would feel good here to float the arms up towards the sky, and then bring the right hand over the top of the left. Give yourself a nice big hug. You can stay right here, or you might gently rock a little bit side to side, feeling a gentle massage along your spine. And then we'll come back to center. Release your hands up towards the sky, pointing your fingers up. You can reach up, and then exhale. Allow the shoulders to melt back down. Bring to mind someone special that you'd like to send a blessing to this morning. And then you can wrap your left arm over the top of your right arm, giving yourself a nice gentle hug. And maybe you send that hug out to someone special, sending them a blessing of support. Maybe you imagine that hug as a forklift, just helping to lift them up. And then we'll come back to center. You can release your arms back up towards the sky and float them down towards your hips. We'll press into our heels, slide the hips over to the right, and then you can roll over to your left side and press yourself up into a seat for a moment just to clear the blanket roll off to the side. Then we were talking about sort of low back sensitivity, and what I've heard over the years is that that can help to do a little bit of strengthening in the core. So as you come to your back, and maybe you want to have your strap handy, you can hug your knees in towards your chest, either wrapping your hands over your shins or bringing the strap over your shins. And then you could rock a little bit side to side. Maybe you start to draw a circle with the knees. So here I'm extending my knees and using the strap to still hold on and drawing a little circle to feel that gentle massage around the sacrum. We're going to do a little bit of core strengthening, and the idea here is to help support the low back. Okay, when you're ready, you can switch directions of your knee circles. Just tuning your awareness into the sensations in your low back. And I hope you're all getting to do maybe some cat yoga. There's my Luna in the background. Hi, Luna. And we'll take one more circle. And then go ahead and release the strap. We're going to hug the knees towards the chest a little bit so that you can feel the engagement of your low back the engagement of your core. So try to press your low back towards the mat, keeping your knees lifted over your hips. And then you can float your palms up. And just this action here, you might feel that engagement in your core, a little bit of strengthening. And you can stay right here, or you might start to extend the left leg long and maybe the right arm long overhead. And then exhale, bring them both back to center. And then we'll inhale to switch sides. And you could do just arms or just legs, or you could skip the movement part altogether and just focus on staying here as long as you can. And then exhale, soften your feet down to the mat. So you might do a few more of these upside down bird dogs. Following the pace of your own breath, allow yourself to rest anytime you'd like. A lot of times, that's what I love about doing Zoom yoga is that, especially with my camera off, it's like if the teacher's doing it and I want to rest, that's okay to rest. Okay, when you're ready, we'll land the feet on the mat, and then you can reach your hands down next to your hips, and you might slide your hands underneath your glutes. So I have my hands on the mat, and then I'm sending them right underneath my glutes just for a little bit more support. Then we'll draw the knees into the chest. And right here, you're in an upside down tabletop, but maybe your glutes are resting on your hands. And for me, this just provides me with a little bit more lift and support. You could also do this with a blanket so you didn't have your hands under your glutes. From here, we're going to just find a few toe taps. So on your next inhale, you can start to drop your right toes down towards the mat, any amount. Maybe tap your toes and then exhale. Draw the knee back towards the chest. Inhale, bring your left toes down. Maybe they tap the earth. And then exhale, bring them back to center. Just take a few more rounds of tapping your toes side to side. Follow the pace of your own breath. Notice if you can soften through your jaw and your shoulders. And you wouldn't have to have the hands underneath the hips if that felt uncomfortable. Take one more nice tap and deep breath on each side. And then we'll land both the feet on the mat. You can lift your hips a little bit side to side to release your hands and then extend your legs long on the mat. Reach your arms overhead. Find a nice long body stretch from your fingertips to your heels. From here, we're going to take a nice side bend. So you can lift your arms, reach them over to the right, and then walk your legs over to the left. So your whole back body is still flat on the mat. Just finding a nice C curve along the left side. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then we'll walk it back to center, reach it long, finding neutral, and then you can lift your arms and your torso a little bit, slide them over to the left, and then maybe you walk your legs over to the left, just creating a banana shape with the body. Find length all along your side body. Sending your breath down your right side. We'll take one more nice deep breath here. And then you can walk it back to center. Take a long body stretch. And then when you're ready, bend into your knees, plant your feet on the mat, and then exhale. Rainbow your hands down towards your hips. On the inhale, imagine your fingertips have little rainbows extending off of them. You can rainbow your arms up and overhead, seeing that light. Exhale, lower your arms back down. Press your palms next to your hips, and then we'll root into our feet, root into the heels. Lift the hip points up to come into bridge. Exhale, gently lower the spine back down, one vertebrae at a time. And then we'll inhale, reach the arms up and overhead. Go ahead and take a few more rounds of breath, following your own pace. Through bridge and those arm lifts. Filling your body with breath. Take one more nice deep breath. In each position. And one more round of bridge. Lifting the hip points, digging into the heels, activating the glutes, and then exhale, gently lower the spine back down one vertebrae at a time. Now it's your choice. We're going to come up to a seat, and you can either shift your hips to the right, roll onto your left side, or maybe you want to hug your knees in towards your chest and gently rock and roll up and down the length of your spine a few times. When you feel ready, you can come up to a seat and either take a pillow or a blanket to sit on. So I like to take the blanket and fold it up to make a little cushion. And then you can come to sit on the blanket. And then let's have our strap handy and our blocks. And if you feel like you would want your seat to be even higher, remember a chair would work, or even coming up onto the bolster like a pillow. And what this does is it helps lift your hips a little bit higher than your knees. And that can sometimes help to lengthen through the spine. So come to your comfortable seat. Take a moment to pause when you arrive and just find that length through the back of your spine. Allow your chin to slightly tuck towards your chest so that you can find length through the back of your neck. And then we'll come back to our intention at our heart center. Bring your breath and your awareness into your intention. And then on your next exhale, you can allow your head to gently bow towards your heart. On the inhale breath, we'll sweep the right ear over towards the right shoulder, any amount. And then exhale, bring your gaze back down to your heart center. Inhale, float the left ear over towards the left shoulder. You're just allowing your shoulder to melt away from your ears, finding that length on the side of your neck. Go ahead and take a few more rounds of breath, floating your head from side to side. We don't want to go too fast, or you don't want to also go too deep. So just finding a little bit of relief along the side of the neck. Lands towards your right shoulder. You can pause here. You might extend your left arm out to the side, and maybe you sort of bend the wrist, point the fingertips up. So you're finding a nice stretch along the left side of your neck. You could even tuck that left hand around behind you. Maybe that would help deepen the stretch. And then we'll start to find a little bit of movement. So you could start to gently nod your head, yes. Thinking about what you would like to say yes to. And then gently shake your head no. Maybe bringing to mind something you'd like to practice saying no to. I guess my kitty's telling me she's saying no to yoga with me this morning. When you're ready, you can pause here, and then you might bring your right hand up to the left side of your neck, and maybe you just give yourself a gentle massage, bringing your fingertips to the side of your neck, finding any places of tension there that you can give yourself a little bit of love. Take a nice deep breath here. And then you can release both hands into your lap. Allow your head to bow towards your heart. Inhale to lift your head back up to center. And just take a moment to pause, noticing the differences from left to right. Then on the next exhale, we'll bow our head towards our heart, and then just allow your left ear to float over towards your left shoulder. Could be any amount. We'll find those yes nods, gently nodding the head yes. Allow yourself to softly, surely practice saying yes. inviting in new opportunities, feeling the yes in your body. And then we'll do the same thing with our no nods. So you can gently start to say no. You might really feel what it feels like to say no. And then we'll come back to stillness. I think I forgot the right arm action. So you can bring your right arm out, maybe point your fingertips up towards your right ear. And then you could even slide that arm around behind you and let it rest at your low back. Let's take one more nice deep breath wherever you're at. And then you can allow your chin and your gaze to float down towards your heart center. Release your hands into your lap. Oh yeah, we forgot the massage on this side too. Well, if you want to come back for the massage, then give your left hand up to your right side of your neck and just allow for a little bit of massage. And you might just remind yourself too, if you had some essential oils or some special body butter, you could always bring that in at any time. Just massage that area of the neck that might be storing any tension. I don't know about you, but I can feel it in my neck. So we'll take a moment to release that side, bow your head once more towards your heart. And then on your inhale, you can softly lift your heart back up to center. Now we're going to reach for the strap, and you can also just even use the back of your shirt. So essentially we're going to use the strap for a shoulder stretch. But if you don't have a strap, like I said, you could grab hold of your shirt, or you could use like a washcloth or a towel or some kind of thing to lengthen your arms. So we'll bring the strap over the top of the right hand, which is out to the side, and then you can sweep that arm up and overhead, allow the strap to fall down your back. So it's basically cascading down your spine. Your elbow, your right elbow might be pointing up towards the sky. Then we'll sweep the left hand out to the left, spread your fingers wide, and then flip so that your thumb is pointing down and the back of your hand is pointing, or your palm is pointing behind you. Then you can wrap that hand around, grasp hold of the strap or your shirt, maybe the top and bottom of the shirt, and you can walk your hands together any amount. Finding length through your spine. You might find a gentle tuck of the chin. And then with your next exhale, maybe you turn your gaze past your left shoulder. Any amount. And just feel the sensations. Notice where you can soften a little bit. We don't have to go to our extreme edge. So you might allow your bottom hand, your left hand, to slide down the strap so that you are just backing off maybe 10% from your edge. On the next exhale, you might bow your head down to the left, gazing at your left side body. And then we'll take one more nice deep breath here. And on your next exhale, you can release everything. Bring your hands back into your lap. Take a moment to close down your eyes or soften your gaze. And notice any differences from left to right. On the inhale, we'll blink the eyes open and then reach for your strap for the other side. So you can bring your strap into your left hand now. I just have it draped over the top of my left hand. And then I'm going to sweep the strap up and overhead, allowing the strap to fall down the back, pointing the elbow up towards the sky. And then you can bring the right hand out to the side, flip the palm so the thumb is pointing down, wrap the hand around behind you, and just reach for that strap, any amount that feels good to you. You can walk your hands towards each other and you might peek your gaze over your right shoulder. Notice where you can soften here. With your next exhale, you might bow your gaze down towards your side body. Take one more nice deep breath, and then you can release all of your effort, bringing your hands back into your lap. Take one more nice deep breath here, and then go ahead and roll your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale, allow them to cascade down the back. We'll just take a few shoulder rolls in this direction. And then you can reverse the direction, bring the shoulders up from behind, down, around, and front. Allowing any tension living in the shoulders to release with the breath. Next up, we're going to be coming into hands and knees if you like, but remember you can do a lot of these from seated. You might, if you're going to stay seated, you might bring your legs out, give them a little shake, and then maybe reverse the cross of your ankles. You can bring your hands onto your knees here and inhale to lift the heart. This is cow pose. Exhale to round into the spine for cat. So you can either do that seated, or if you'd like to come to hands and knees, remember we can use a blanket underneath the knees for support. So you could always bring padding, extra padding for the knees. And then sometimes if I don't want to be on the wrists, I'll take blocks and bring my forearms onto the blocks. And this can be a nice way to still be in tabletop that have some support. You could also bring your forearms all the way down to the ground. And that's just going to be it's going to be a little bit of a different stretch. So feel free to explore. If you're coming into cow pose, we'll inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, round into the spine. Go ahead and take a few rounds of cat and cow, following the pace of your own breath. As you move your spine, and you marvel at its amazing design. Maybe you want to stretch into other areas of the spine by drawing a big circle with the belly button. You could rotate your circle in one direction, and then whenever you feel ready, go ahead and reverse the direction of your circle. Imagining you're tracing the inside of a hula hoop. After a few rounds in one direction, you can reverse the direction of your circles. You can even do these circles from your seat. You might hold on to your knees and just draw a big circle with your belly button. Take one more nice deep breath wherever you're at. And then we'll meet back up in a neutral spine, remembering that everything is optional. I wanted to come next into thread the needle. If thread the needle isn't going to work for you and you want to do that, or if you want to do it from a seat, is basically this same stretch with your arm across. So you're kind of getting into the shoulder, into the upper back here. So you could do this from a seat, or if you want to do it from hands and knees, you could take your left arm We'll thread it underneath the body. And I like to bring the knees a little wide, the big toes to touch. And then you can land on the shoulder, bringing your temple down to rest on the mat. You could use your right hand here to support your weight. You could also, if it felt too much like you're falling forward and you want more support, you could also bring like a pillow just underneath the head. So your arm is still on the floor, but either a pillow or a block could raise the floor up to you. Take a nice deep breath and you thread the needle. And you're always welcome to stay a little longer if that would feel good. And then from here, we'll press up to tabletop on your next inhale. Set up for the other side if you want to use that pillow or bolster. I'm just going to move the bolster over so that I have room to rest my left hand, but then I still have that pillow for my head. So I'll thread the right hand underneath, so it's coming underneath the bolster, and then bring my head to rest either on a block or on a bolster. And you could walk your right hand or your left hand out in front, or continue to press into the earth to find that support. You might notice here subtle differences from left to right. Allowing for compassion and curiosity. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then it'll be your option when you come back up to take either a child's pose or a downward facing dog. You're kind of set up right now for child's pose. And then if you did have a bolster or a pillow, you can use the bolster or pillow in child's pose to bring the floor up to you. So you might walk yourself down to the pillow or to the mat, walking your hands out in front, opening your knees out wide to the sides could help. There's so many different variations of child's pose. So feel free to find the one that works best for you and your body today. Okay, so from here, you're in your child's pose, in your supported child's pose. We're going to come back up to tabletop. We are going to be moving onto our bellies next. And so you may or may not want the blanket underneath you. And to get to the belly, we can play around with a forearm plank. So I like to come in onto the forearms and then walk the knees back, tuck the toes under maybe, and you might just hang out here for a few rounds of breath in plank on your knees. At any time, you could roll back onto your belly. And then if you wanted to play around, one of my teachers calls this pouncing sphinx. So when you come onto your belly, your elbows are stacked underneath your shoulders from the forearm plank. And then you could stay right here in your sphinx. But if you want to try the pouncing sphinx, you would basically draw your belly button towards your spine, start to roll up, lift your hips so you're on your knees, and you're going to find maybe a little trembling from your core. On your exhale, you can soften your belly down, coming back into sphinx. And maybe you want to try that 2 more times, the pouncing sphinx. So what I'm going to do is tuck my toes under, lift the hips, using the strength of the core to come onto the knees for a forearm plank. And then exhale, maybe sigh out through the mouth. You can extend the legs back, untuck the toes, press the tops of the feet into the mat, press the palms down. Traction the hands back towards the heart to find that gentle back bend in Sphinx. And then on your next exhale, we'll stack the palms, bring the elbows out wide. Allow your forehead to rest on the back of your hands. Softening all of your effort through your low back, through your glutes. And some people like to kick their heels towards their sit bones, bending into the knees, just allowing the feet to gently rock from side to side. As you rest in your crocodile pose, Makrasana, allow your forehead to root down, and you might just imagine a portal from your mind through your hands down into the earth. Anything that you want to clean house, say goodbye to, no longer sparks joy. Bring that to mind and just allow it to flow through your forehead. We call this the center of your third eye, down through the palms of your hands, down into the earth. You can allow it to be recycled there. On the next inhale, we'll lift the head, slide the hands back behind you. You can place the back of the palms on the earth and then turn so that your right temple could make its way to the mat. If it feels too far away, you can tuck the toes under and just glide the body forward, or maybe it would feel good to bring a block underneath the head. This kind of feels nice. I might not want to stay here too long, but if you're feeling like the earth is too far away from you. Then we're going to get ready for a flying superhero pose. So start to engage your core. Notice if you can draw your belly button towards your spine, and then you can lift your chest, lift your arms, lift your legs, allow them to float over the earth, bringing the gaze out in front. We'll take a nice deep breath here. Actually, we'll take 2 more nice deep breaths here. So you can inhale, feel your body rise and float. Exhale, feel yourself soften into the earth. And then when you're ready, you can turn your gaze to the right. Soften your left temple down to a block or the earth. Allowing yourself this moment of time to rest. And you might feel that gentle pressure along your temple. Maybe you can exhale any tension that might be living there. On the next inhale, we'll lift the head, bring the palms underneath the shoulders. You can tuck the toes under and press up to tabletop. Eventually, we're going to all meet up in a standing position. So if you'd like to find a downward dog coming to bring you to stand, maybe you want to use either blocks, or actually another option would be to use a chair here to help you get up. So I'm going to tuck my toes under, lift my hips up and back, and then use my hands on the blocks to help lift the earth to me. And you might even flip the blocks to the medium setting, but realize you could also bring your hands onto a chair seat here as well if you didn't have blocks. And then we're going to eventually walk our hands to our feet, or your feet to your hands, to find a forward fold. Once more, you can also use a chair or a stool here underneath your hands, or if you don't have blocks, you can bring your hands to your shins or to your thighs, and then we'll inhale to lift our spine halfway. Finding length through the spine. Exhale brings you to forward fold. Inhale brings you to halfway lift. Drawing your belly button a bit towards your spine, lengthening through your spine, feeling your crown reaching forward, and then exhale to forward fold. This time we're going to inhale, sweep the arms out to the side, sweep up, come up to stand. And then from standing, I'm just going to come back here so you can see the whole of me. From your standing, come into mountain pose Tadasana. So start to feel your feet root down into the earth. Imagine you could slightly tuck your tail. So your tailbone is rooting down, and that action might help recruit a bit of your core. So one of my teachers recently, when we were talking about low back pain, she was giving the analogy like your low back is like the mother and your core is like the child. And so you don't want to have the mother chasing after the child, right? You want to be able to let the child do its work. I don't know if that analogy makes sense, but the idea is tucking the tail, slightly recruit the strength of your core, and then allow your shoulders to melt away from your ears. You might find some action in your legs as well, lifting your kneecaps to help engage your legs. And as you come into your standing mountain, notice the strength and stability of your legs. And then from your belly button up, see about finding a lightness, a buoyancy. And then bring your awareness into your heart center. Imagine it like a lighthouse, shining. Feel that intention glowing from your heart center. And then when you're ready, we'll blink the eyes open. We're going to come to the long edge of the mat. So you can bring blocks with you if you have them, or maybe there's a step stool, could be a really great option. I was thinking I should have brought my step stool out. So from here, we're going to bring the feet parallel, and you can slightly bring the toes in. You wouldn't want to fully pigeon toe, but maybe you can offer a little more support to not have them out to the sides, but a little bit floating inward. And then we'll bring the hands to the hips, start to reach the arms out, and you're coming into a 5-pointed star, twinkling your fingers, little jazz hands, right? Feel yourself growing in each direction, opening up, finding your space. And then with your exhale, you can bring your hands, either fly them back like airplane arms, or interlace them at your low back, or you might even use a strap or tug on the edge of your shirt. So from here, we're going to lift the heart, and then on your exhale, you can hinge from the hips, coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Allow your head to bow. Allow your hands to either rest at your low back, or sometimes it feels okay to float your hands away from your low back, allowing gravity to just stretch through the shoulders. But eventually we are going to bring our hands down to block. So if that's going to feel better on your shoulders at any time, you can release your fingertips, allow them to trace the back of your legs, and then you can bring them out in front on blocks or on the earth. And then on your next inhale, go ahead and lengthen your spine forward for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. We'll inhale, press into your support, lift up halfway with a flat back. Exhale to forward fold. And one more time like this. From here, you can pivot your toes out to the sides. Start to bend into your knees walk your hands up onto your knees and you're in a goddess squat here. You can start to walk your hands to your hips and float your torso upright. It's almost like you're riding on a horse. And then maybe reach your arms out wide to the sides, float them up towards the sky, press into your legs to reach up tall, and then exhale, we'll pull it down, pull the hands down into cactus arms for goddess pose. We're going to do that 2 more times. So inhale to reach it up tall. Exhale, pull it down. And then maybe you include a lion's breath here. Sticking out the tongue. Let's try that one more time. Inhale, reach it up tall, lengthen through the spine, through the fingertips, and then pull it down, coming into your squat for goddess. And we can stay right here for just a few rounds of breath. Allow your shoulders to melt away from your ears. Feel the strength of your legs. And you could also do this on a seat, right? Just with a chair. I've been meaning to get the right kind of chair. But if you wanted to do a goddess squat from a seat, you could bring really yourself to the edge of a chair, open the feet out wide, and then you'd have a supported goddess. You could play around with that. Take one more nice deep breath. And then we'll press into the legs, reach the arms up, draw the hands to the heart center, walk the feet in towards each other, and then give yourself a little shake. Allow the arms to graze your sides. You might take a nice sigh out through the mouth. As you allow yourself to release any tension or holding. Take one more nice deep breath here. And then we're going to come back to our mats. So from here, you can come back through downward dog if you'd like. So you might inhale, sweep the arms up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive forward. Inhale here for halfway lift. Exhale to forward fold. Go ahead and plant your palms on the mat or on your blocks, or come down to tabletop, however you'd like. If you'd like to take a few rounds of breath in your down dog, you might take a moment to hover the knees and then softly land them down. We'll walk the knees forward and then come onto the seat next. From here, you can walk your feet out in front and maybe you reach your arms out and just start to lean back ever so slightly. Coming into Navasana, boat pose. You might sweep your hands behind your thighs. Maybe you lift one knee or shin at a time, or stay right here with the feet on the ground. Whenever you feel ready, you can roll all the way onto your back, hug your knees in towards your chest, and maybe you walk your hands, either leave them at the back of your thighs, or you could walk them up to your ankles, your shins, your feet, for happy baby pose, Ananda Balasana. You could sway from side to side. Maybe you land one knee and stretch the opposite leg long. And you could land the opposite knee, stretch the other leg long. Taking a moment to find that pleasure of the happy baby. You might allow a smile to wash across your face. And then go ahead and release your feet down to your mat. We'll press our heels into the mat and slide the hips over to the left so that your knees can stack over to the right. You're coming into a supine twist. You could spread your arms out beside you in a letter T, moving any of the props out of the way. Maybe you bring your gaze over towards your left hand. And you could soften here, allowing your heart to open, finding that gentle curve in your spine. If you wanted to deepen the twist, you might bring a bolster underneath the leg. I'm going to show it on the other side, actually. So you could slide your bottom leg long and then bring your top knee to rest on a bolster or a block. So that would allow you to deepen your twist. Allow your shoulder to soften down towards the earth, feeling both of your shoulder blades rooting down. If you continue your gaze over to the other hand, you might find that gentle spiral through your spine. Allowing yourself this time to soften and settle. If you find your thoughts are wandering to the past or to the future, you might invite yourself back here into the present moment. Take one more nice deep breath on this side. And then you can unwind your twist. Coming back into your bridge prep, you can press into your heels, lengthen through your spine to find neutral. And then get ready for the other side. So I just switched sides, but if you're going to go to the next side, you might press into your feet, slide your hips over to the right, allow your knees to fall and stack over to the left. Turning your gaze over towards your right hand. And if you did want to deepen this stretch, you could slide your left leg long and then bring your right knee to either a pillow or a block. Just allow your whole body to settle here. Where can you soften your effort? Balancing it with your ease. Take one more nice deep breath in your twist. And since you are your own best teacher, you're always welcome to stay longer here. And I'm going to give you some options for the next pose. So the next pose is going to be the last one I guide you through before your final resting pose. And it would require a little bit of prop support, but you have a lot of options to choose from. So I'm going to show you how to set up into a supine butterfly. We call this Supta Baddha Konasana, and it is similar to the pose we started class with. But this is just some things you can do with the blocks if you have them. So if you have blocks, you might bring them onto the high setting, one on the medium setting to make a little stair step. And then you could bring the pillow over the top of that And then I'm going to bring the blanket and unfold it to make a nice big rectangle. And then I'll roll the rectangle into a big burrito. So that I have a nice big blanket roll. Now there are other things you can do with the blanket roll, but what I'm going to do with this one is I'm going to shimmy my hips right up against that bolster, plop the blanket roll on top of my feet with the soles of my feet together, and then I bring the edge of the blanket underneath my knees. And this is similar to what we did with the blocks. We brought the blocks underneath the knees at the beginning of class. And then you would find that shape, and hopefully yours didn't crash like mine did. So in that case, I might actually use lower. I'm going to use it on the medium and the low setting. Usually it doesn't crash like that. And then you could bring yourself to lie back on the support, resting in a nice recliner. This is like a yoga recliner. Allowing your shoulders to soften away from your ears. And just remembering that you have lots of options and choices. So if this pose is not the best for you, you're welcome to find any other that would work for you to rest and settle in. And you could stay here for all of your Shavasana or some of it. At any point, you'd be welcome to come to lie flat on your back in corpse pose. So as you begin to soften here, you can allow all of your thoughts to gently fade away. Maybe you imagine them like clouds passing overhead. Allowing your shoulders to soften, relaxing the hinge of your jaw, softening through your temples, relaxing all of your effort. And then allow your awareness to come into your heart center, into that spring that you noticed earlier. Just see if there are any messages there for you, from you, for you. Find that quiet and that calm inner space. Notice your intention living there. Allow the glow from your intention to shine throughout your body. Allowing it to fill your whole body with light. And I'll just come back to some of the ideas around asteya, non-stealing. I love this quote. She says, "When we compare ourselves to others, we find ourselves lacking, which makes us feel cheated. Or we can find ourselves superior, which leaves us feeling arrogant." So that's one way we can steal from ourselves is by comparing ourselves to others. And all the ways that we impose an outside image of ourselves onto ourselves, we are stealing from the unfolding of our own uniqueness. All the demands and expectations we place on ourselves steals from our own enthusiasm. All self-sabotage and lack of belief in ourselves, low self-esteem, judgments, criticisms, demands for perfection are all forms of self-abuse in which we destroy our very essence of our vitality. We need time to rest and reflect and to contemplate. The tenet of asteya or non-stealing asks us to shift our focus from others to ourselves. It asks us to get excited about the possibilities of our own life. When we attend to our own growth and learning in the areas of our interests, we are engaged in the joy and challenge of building ourselves. From the fullness of our own talent and skill, we automatically serve the world rather than steal from it. And allow those thoughts to linger and then let them go, just knowing that they're still there for you whenever you need them. Allowing yourself the time and the space to rest. To soften. Release tension and holding. Allowing yourself to ground into this present moment. And if you can find that peace at your heart center, just know that that place is always there for you. A resource that you can come back to. Feel the whole entire earth hug you in the form of gravity, holding you to the earth. Oh, you're back. Allow yourself to be cradled, supported. And then once you bring your awareness into your heart center, imagine that glowing jewel. Allow yourself to trace the rays from your glowing heart center out into the stars. Give yourself a moment of time to rest there. Allow yourself to be full of awe and wonder. What an amazing opportunity it is to be here alive today in this time and place. And then just like a light feather falling to the earth, allow your awareness to float back down into your body. So often we can hear those words from our inner critic. At this moment, just imagine your body is so complete, so healthy and strong, and almost like brand new to you. Start to cultivate that gratitude from your heart center, imagining that spring. Allow the gratitude to bubble up for this amazing, strong body that is unique to you. What an amazing opportunity and gift it is to be here today, alive in this time and place. And then you can start to reanimate the body by gently wiggling the fingers, wiggling the toes. If you're still on the prop support, you could extend your arms and legs long and then gently roll onto one side. Find a fetal position, resting your head on your upper arm or your bicep. And then whenever you feel ready, you can press yourself up into a seat. You might invite your hands to meet at your heart center. And then go ahead and sweep your arms up and around, gathering all the good energy you created and drawing it into your heart center. As you bring your hands to your heart, you might allow your head to gently bow. You're welcome to join me in chanting one round of Om, and then we can sing together Shanti, 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 which means peace, peace, peace. So go ahead and take a nice cleansing bell to sigh out through the mouth. And then we'll take a nice deep breath for Om. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Go ahead and allow your head to once more bow towards the wisdom of your loving heart. It's such an honor and privilege to guide you through your practice. So thank you all so much for being here with me today. Namaste. If you have any thoughts or questions about class, please feel free to let me know. I got rid of my chair, so I'll just come here.